Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Nathan. Today we are going to change out my tower cooler in my current PC, and we're going to switch it out for an AIO. Currently the system is an i7 4790K from Intel. It's got an ASUS H97M-Plus motherboard, running 32 gigs of DDR3 and running a Sapphire RX580 4 gig. Let's get started. So this is what we're putting in the system. Just got it in today. It is the CoolerMaster Master Liquid ML240L V2 RGB. It's got the 3rd generation dual chamber pump technology. We do have Aurora Sync capability. It is RGB capable, along with ASRock, Gigabyte, and MSI's version with 16.7 million colors. Other things about it, this fits the LGA 1150 socket, which is what the 4790Ks run, so it is compatible. And of course we do have the 3-pin rated for 70,000 hours on the pump, so we should be definitely good to go. Other things, back of the box, of course, in multiple languages. You've got the 3rd gen dual chamber pump, increased surface area. It's got that sickle flow 120 millimeter RGB fans, reinforced ceiling for the upgrades, and the RGB lighting solutions. Other sides, not what you see normal. Of course, the increased surface area. It does have a wired RGB controller. This will be nice. And of course, this 3rd generation pump chamber. So what we're going to do is go over. We're going to benchmark my current computer, i7 4790K, with 32 gigs of DDR3 and the ASUS H97M-Plus motherboard. Right now it is running a Gammax 400 tower cooler in it, and so we're going to benchmark it. We'll show you what it looks like. We'll show you just how warm it gets under load. So we'll benchmark the tower cooler from Gammax that's in it now, and then we'll swap everything out. We'll show you how this one mounts up in the Corsair case, and then we will go ahead and benchmark the new system. Okay, we're back here onto my main computer, and I have to use screen capture for this, so it's going to throw some readings off just a little bit as far as core clocks and that type of goes, but you guys can see how it boosts up. We'll start and we'll run Cinebench, and this will be the R20 classroom version, and I'll have hardware monitor up beside it so that you guys can see just what it is doing as far as temperatures. Right now, this is the DeepCool Gammax 400 that is currently installed on our system, and up here in the corner I will put the specifications for the computer that I am currently running. So we'll switch here a second. But we're going to go ahead and run the Cinebench R20 benchmark so that you can see just how fast, once this processor comes under load, that this 4790K does get hot, and why I want to get it switched over to this AIO. We have Cinebench R20 pulled up. Now, I do have drag it up here so that you can kind of see it. This is ASUS's Fan Expert 2 Plus. This does control the fans inside of my computer, and we'll get to that. Right now I am in turbo mode. This means that it will spin up just a little bit faster as the temps rise than it would in, say, a normal or silent mode. My last run with this, with nothing on except for Cinebench R20, all my other processors shut down, I got a 2064. We'll go in here and we'll clear our minimum and maximums. And I ran this one earlier with everything on, so we should see about a 1438 for a score. Ran it just to see what everything would do, so let's run it and see what we got. Let it prepare, and there it comes. All right, we are 100% load, and we are already up to 82, 83 degrees on the package. Not a good sign. Definitely want to see if this AIO can get us pulled back down where it will be acceptable temperatures, especially when I'm doing light video editing, playing games, depending on what I am doing. Now, this is the i7-4790K, which is 4 cores, 8 threads, and my graphics card right now is a Radeon Sapphire RX580 4 gig. So we're not far into this run here, and we're already up to 93 degrees, even in turbo mode, with this DeepCool Gammax 400 tower cooler that is on it. The way this current computer is currently set up, I have a 120 millimeter fan in the front, a 120 exhaust in the rear, a 120 in the top where the AIO would normally be. This is a Corsair case. I can't find the model for it anymore, but it's pretty close to a 100D 100R case. This is from several years ago. I inherited this computer about a year ago, took the Intel stock cooler off, and put on this Gammax Cool 400. When I did that, it has a 120 millimeter fan, and then I had a splitter and attached a 120 millimeter fan where the 240 radiator would sit, just to help pull that heat out. And my tower and fan is orientated so it blows the heat off of the CPU directly up to help get it out of the case faster. But as you can see, we already hit 97. There's 98 degrees on the package. As we're getting close to finishing this, these are 20 tests. You know, they're only 2 to 3 minute tests, less than 5. And, you know, we're maxing out at 98 degrees. That sustained load like that is something that we definitely can't have happen, especially when I'm doing one of my longer video renders. Rendering some videos for work, I had some 2-hour videos that were 1080p, 60 FPS. Oh, and we just got a warning. There's a 100 degree. So we need to get this computer cooled back down. Of course, as the test is done, we can already see temperatures are starting to come back down. But what I've done is I've come back here and went to full speed on this Fan Expert so that it will fire up and get this computer cooled down a lot faster. Okay, so you can see just how hot this is. We want to try and alleviate that. That's why we're going to put this CoolerMaster AIO on it. So we know it'll fit. It says it's compatible with this system. So instantaneous for you guys, but for me, take a few minutes. We'll get the computer cooled down, shut down, and we'll install this AIO, get it fired back up, and when we come back, I will show you a little bit of the installation of how everything is set up inside this particular case. Then we'll plug her in and we'll run the stress or the benchmark again and run another R20 and see if we can't get those temperatures back under control. Okay, so we got her opened up here so we can get things replaced. We have a Seasonic 500 watt power supply. The drive here is a Seagate Barracuda Compute 2 terabyte spinning hard drive. Up here in these drive cages I have a Samsung 840 EVO 500 gigabyte. So we have the back 120 here. Of the 120 that I put in that's up here. Exhaust here. I got my splitter. This is the Gammax DeepCool 400. My RX580. And then it's kind of hard to see, but up here we do have the one Corsair case fan that this came with it. And of course my ASUS motherboard. And then of course 32 gigs. It's 4x8 for the RAM. So we're going to take this out. And then we're going to start getting this radiator mounted up and see what we can do with this new AIO from CoolerMaster. Corsair AIO. Ran into a few little funky issues with it because this case has the drive trays for putting in CD and DVD drives for those internal larger drives. That's not removable in this case. So just a little tight on the tolerances. So if you do get an AIO, just make sure that it's going to fit in where you want it to go. Otherwise, everything mounted up smooth. So let's switch over here. And we are going to fire up and we'll do another R20 run so that see how the temps compare with running AIO versus that DeepCool Gammax 400. Okay, over here and we have Cinebench R20 fired up. We have hardware monitor fired up. We're running about mid-40s for the most part on the package. Pretty much low 40s except for this Core 3 who seems to be bouncing everywhere. So we're gonna run one. Now notice when now saying 4.499 as a low speed right now. That's okay. Clear our minimum maximum here real quick. That way we can get some good numbers and we'll go ahead and click run on this R20 run. Pull it up and bring that back up. Fans are in turbo mode with the ASUS motherboard that is in this. It's the H97M-Plus. There is no pump header. So I've had to run the pump through the CPU port that is there that would normally go to the CPU fan, which is perfectly fine. And then it's split off to run the fan. So the pump and both AIO fans are running at the same speed. And then, of course, the one front fan that's there, I need to get some screws and I can change that 140 front fan and put two 120s in there to help kind of increase the airflow through the case. With everything running, look at these temperatures, guys. This is an R20 run and we are running 80 degrees. We're a full 20 degrees below what it was running with that Gammax DeepCool 400 on there, running R20. I have the same things running. I've got zoom for my camera, background and blackout. I've got OBS, R20, and hardware monitor all running. And as you can see, we are running at 4.499 megahertz. Actually, that's 4.499 gigahertz for an all-core boost. What I did was I went into the BIOS and updated the BIOS to make it say that I was water-cooled instead of air-cooled because I have an AIO now. And that ups the targets. Now with this ASUS motherboard, it's an older motherboard. I'm not going to continuously run this where it's just across the board at the almost 4.5 gigahertz. That's what its target is. I don't want to run it at that speed all the time. That's just hard on hardware. And I don't know that much about this ASUS motherboard because it is such an older motherboard. You have to remember this motherboard's at least 6 years old. So I don't want to overstress it. I want this computer to last me a while. That's why I got the AIO to get it down to where it is. Looks like we're maxing out about 83. Looks like the highest core was 84 degrees. So perfectly well within what I would expect for operating temperatures. We're not getting an overheat warning, which is 100 degrees with these Intel CPUs from this era. And so what I'll do is I'll go back in, tweak some settings to tell it, hey, you need to throttle down more. That way I can get my idle temperatures back to that 30 to 35-ish range that I'd really love to see, and truly let this CPU spin down and actually idle down the way it really should. So we came in with everything running. We came in with a 1792, up several points from our original run when we had that Gammax DeepCool 400 sitting on there. The run without everything running, I did it pre this section of the video, and with everything off, everything in turbo mode as far as the fans and stuff go, and then have all of the processes and stuff shut down to where it's just minimum running, where it is just literally Cinebench R20 and the hardware monitor, and yeah, 80 degrees max, and we got a 2082, so quite a bit better as far as cooling goes. And of course, the increase in scores, we get a lot better performance out of everything. So guys, if you are looking for ways to help increase the cooling of your CPUs, you're looking for a slightly better performance, you always have a couple of routes. You go with a bigger, better air cooler. Noctua makes great air coolers. Corsair, Be Quiet, all make great air coolers if you want to go the air cooler route. If you are looking for a system that is closer to silent, then go the AIO route. You can get, the AIOs. This one's a Corsair. You've got NZXT that makes good AIOs. Just check what your TDP of your processor is. Make sure that whatever cooler you're using is compatible, that it'll handle the TDP of your processor or the future processor you intend to upgrade to. Make sure your case has plenty of airflow. One thing I like about this particular Corsair case is it can either use one 140 in the front, or it can use two 120s in the front, which eventually I'll put a splitter on and take that 140 out and put in a pair of 240s or a pair of 120s that have a lot of static pressure that can force that air into the case. I've got the AIO set up in a push configuration. It's venting heat straight out of the case from that radiator, so even when it's spun down, running at those lower speeds, it's still, that air is naturally rising out of the case. Plus, I've got the fan in the back that's exhausting other air out of the case that may not be getting pulled by that AIO out of the case. That's just helping with my pressure, making sure that I have the proper airflow throughout the case. If you guys like this video, hit like, get subscribed, go check out my Twitch. I stream when I can. Star Trek Fleet Command, World of Warships. You never know what I'm going to be streaming that day. I tend to mix it up depending on my moods. There's merch links down below. So everything goes through Steam Elements right now. They've got some awesome, the merch, the quality of their merch is great. So head on over there. If you want some no-name merch, then definitely get my link there. Offer code KC0IWS, and that will get you 10% off of your entire order. Again, hit like, get subscribed. Let me know if there's something that you'd like me to cover, and we'll see you in the next one.